All right, well, today's the day. Take this engine, stuff it in the engine bay, see how it fits, figure out what oil pan we're going to need, maybe even start fabbing up some mounts. Got to get the transmission connected up to it. Not going to do the flywheel, clutch, all that stuff today. We're going to keep it as light as possible. I'm here by myself. My only other car guy buddy, Taurus Pack, so he can't be here to help me. But I got the engine out of the backyard, got the hoist back there, you can probably see. So let's get started. All right, so first things first, we got to get this mount connected. Looks like it just bolts up right here, and the transmission's going to bolt up to that. It even looks like I might have enough room to get the transmission on there without having to lift up this part of the engine. I guess we'll see. All right, so this kit comes with a couple bolts. Mount it. I guess it's only 3 bolts to mount the ring. I'm going to leave this connected in the front for now, but we'll get these back ones off. So from what I've seen, just mount these guys up here. I'm really not going to go for super tight because this all has to come back apart. I'm not going to add any locking thread locker or anything like that. Just going to get these put in so we can get the transmission mounted to it and do some test fitting. So it would appear I have to take this dowel out. I'm going to pull the plate off and look, but it doesn't really look like it fits on there. Let's pop it off and take a look. Well, I didn't see that in the instructions because it didn't come with instructions, which is kind of crappy for a $1,400 set. But you can see that pin is right there. It looks kind of like there's a spot for a pin there. But it's threaded right here. So I guess I've got 2 options. I either drill this out, which I'm really not interested in doing, or I have to somehow get this pin out. I don't have a slide hammer. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. So yeah, we'll go from there. I'll let you know what I do. Okay. I'm not going to show you exactly what I did with that pin to get this to set flush. But it sits flush now. These holes are pretty tight tolerance. I'm certain that this is lined up well enough without the pin. So we're just going to go without the pin. Next up, we're going to get the transmission bolted up here so we have a better idea of how it's going to fit in the engine bay. Then we'll get it on the hoist and we'll slide it in there. All right, well, this should be fun. Got to get that connected to that. I do have a transmission jack here, but the engine is so far forward on this pallet that it's not really going to help me out. I guess I could undo the rest of the engine, maybe put it on the hoist. I'm going to try to muscle it up there, see what happens. If not, we'll get the hoist out, we'll put the transmission on the jack, and then we will do it that way. All right, I guess first things first, we got to decide which bolts go where. Again, 0 instructions with this guy. But I see Let's see. See a dowel pin here. See a couple holes there. Transmission's supposed to sit like this, but I guess the engine is kicked over slightly. Guess I better remove this bolt here, which was there for shipping. But we're not going to have much fun trying to put this in. That bolt there. Alright, so now that we got that out of there, that's out of the way. Let's lean this over like the engine. See how these bolts line up. I know the case hits the starter motor here, and we got to chop a piece out. All of these are threaded. There's a dowel pin here. That would make these bolts line up. Do we have to get rid of another dowel pin to get this to work? Kinda looks like it. Well, that's frustrating. I think I might just go ahead, get this on the hoist, get this on the jack. That way I'm not lifting it up constantly. It is too hot out here to be doing that. Alright, so transmission's on there. Now I got to get the hoist past here somehow. We'll get the engine lifted up, and we'll try connecting it from there to there. We'll also look and see if I need to get rid of that pin. Well, I've seen a lot of people using ratchet straps, and I might connect up some ratchet straps. Looking at the bottom, it doesn't seem right to me. It seems like it could slide off. I even made these little plates earlier today to put the ratchet straps through, go across the top. But I've got this guy, it's a leveler. So I think what I'm going to do is take this really cool towel and wrap it around the valve cover. And then I'm going to hook up chains to it and see if that works. So, wish me luck. Well, sketch factor is going to be a little high on this one. But, got to do what you got to do. So the plan is start lifting this up. Hope this thing swings back off of there gently. And I can get that transmission mounted up to it. You want to watch the comedy? Nothing left to do but to do it. Let's see if we can do this without hurting ourselves or something else. Just going to take it real slow. Keep checking. See what happens. Well, honestly, that went a little better than I expected it to. Don't need to get it up real high because I still have to get the transmission mounted. Might have to repaint that valve cover. But we're off the pallet. Now to get the pallet out of the way, get the transmission up there. I think I might try to move it over here into shade. It's a little bit easier for me to work. It's already like 100 and something out here. So, yeah, there we have it. So looking at this, my best guess is that that hole and this hole line up, that hole and this hole line up. This pin probably going to have to go. This is where we're going to have to cut for the starter motor, which leaves this bowl lining up there. There's some other bolts and stuff around here. I guess I'm going to start with getting this pin off. I don't know if I'm going to have to just cut it or if I can pound it out or what. Here's a slightly better view of how I think it works. That one, that one, that one, that one. That one goes in one of those. And then this one here. But again, this pin is still going to be in our way. I'm going to try to just lower the engine and see where this lands. But we might have to get rid of it. Get to that when we get to that. I will say this pin clears nicely. I didn't have to do anything with that. So yeah, we'll get these other bolts mounted up. And we'll swing it into there to the outfit. Well, now I guess there's not much more to do but lift this thing up, slide it this direction, put it in that engine bay. Try to get you a good angle here. Might have to move you around a couple of times. But we're going to get started. That only interferes with this completely. Should be fine. Dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I got to get this done and I don't have any help. So here I go. This oil pan just isn't going to do. You can see there some definite clearance issues. I'm still pretty far from the firewall back here. And it looks like that pan is right where we don't want it to be. Almost looks like it could just slip over that cross member. But we got to get it further back so we can get the steering to work. This is why we test fit. No idea if this is actually going to work. If we're going to have to cut or what. I guess the first thing I need to do is pop that oil pan off. See how far I can get this back in there. Now to see how easy this pan comes off, I've got this bolt loose, got the one in the middle loose, got the one on that side loose. I've got all the rest of them out. So now it should just be popping the pan off. And gonna probably throw some of that plastic wrap on it and see if we can get it slid back in there a little bit better. There we go. And yeah, a bunch of oil still left in there. So weak. It'll make a giant mess. For some reason I thought they would ship these without oil in them, but as you can see, that one is completely full of oil. So the last thing we need to do here, pull this front bolt. See if we can shimmy this pan out of here without making a giant mess. What I didn't really account for is the oil pump. Also, my dipstick is still hanging down there and now it's completely wrapped and probably have to bend it. But I'm going to have to get that oil pump off of there too. Otherwise, the clearance isn't a whole lot different. Alright, so where we're at now is I removed this timing chain tensioner so I could get that loose. Then I'm going to undo that bolt and that bolt, which are the same on the other side, and hopefully I will be able to tip this down and pull it out. If not, engine's got to come out. So, out of the engine bay at least. Wish me luck. Well, I got the oil pump out, and see the timing chains hanging down. Unfortunately, so is this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap all this up with some plastic. I don't know if this will come up on the camera. Those are some pretty ominous looking clouds, and there has been a lot of thunder. So I'm going to try to protect this and hopefully get it back in there, get it held up with something so I can at least cover this car up and not have all of this full of water. Unfortunately, I think I'm just going to bend this dipstick. I can't get it out right now. Straighten it back out when I need to and then pull it out and replace it. But that's where we're at. All right, well, got the engine in the car, sitting here. It's not going anywhere. Transmission is on the jack. It's sitting on the cross member, which is not ideal, but it's there, and it's going to be there for now. Storm's coming, so I'm going to clean up and get out of here. I guess this is the tail of barrel. So, need to get this car cover back on, bumper back on, all this stuff cleaned up. But next time, we'll be making sure that we can get an oil pan that fits in here. It looks like I've got lots of clearance. Measure out that TF works. See if it makes a difference. But a little bit of progress. There is a engine and a transmission sitting in the car. Are you not impressed?
A few moments later.